and KQ for the head with the Karis Partisan. That's actually a good shout.
I gotta try that shit out.
I
have to do the quest to try it out. But oh my god, that's another thing. Take your goddamn Karis Partisans to Raid 3. Why did we not say that in the first half of the episode, Michael?
To even remember that weapon exists.
The fact that you're getting awarded jewels that can only be used in the raid, a Karis Partisan is going to be absolutely necessary for Raid 3. Oh, we're so dumb we didn't say that in the first half of the episode.
Well, if you made it this far, bonus content for you guys.
Bingo. Hello, and welcome back to Xpwaste, where if you're not at the Tombs of AMASCUT tomorrow, where are you even going to be? Michael and I might not be there because we still haven't done Beneath Cursed Sands, but that's not important. Hi, I'm Oxie.
And I am Michael. If this is your first time tuning into Xpwaste, welcome. We're a old school RuneScape podcast. We'll talk about things happening in game. We'll talk about the news, talk about random subjects, and for sure, we'll get off on tangents. If you're not new around here, welcome back. Hype for the raid tomorrow. Oxie, how you doing?
I'm doing. Let me tell you, I'm doing. I sound a little different. Sound a little scraggly today. Last night, I went to go see 21 Pilots in Little Caesars Arena in Detroit. And as always, they're incredible.
Yeah.
That's the fourth time I've seen them. This was for their Icy tour. Wearing the tour shirt right now.
It looks sick.
It was like the second show of the entire tour at Detroit too. So it was like, yeah, super hype, super exciting. I don't know if anyone listens to TOP that like wants to see them. Go see them. They put on probably the second biggest and most exciting stage show I've ever seen in my entire life. The only band that tops 21 Pilots is Metallica that I've seen live.
Wow.
Only one. So like the fact that those two are in the same bracket of like the amount of pyrotechnics and like stage show and like the amount of just stuff going on, it's so cool to watch.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So absolutely recommend going to see 21 Pilots if you get the chance, even if you don't love their music. It's better if you do love it, but like obviously, you know, it's definitely worth it. Troll in the recording booth chat says Rammstein does an insane show too. My dad's going to see them in a couple of weeks here in September when they come to Chicago. So I imagine I'll hear all about that too. But that would make sense if they're up there too. But otherwise, yeah, I'm tired and my voice is scraggly because I screamed for like 2 straight hours. I love them. In game, things are going. It wasn't a fancy cold opener this week. We all know what that means. Actually, still doesn't have his Inferno cape. It sucks. It sucks. We're like, the waves are clean. The waves feel great. We're off-ticking enemies. We're just like, we're feeling good within the Inferno. And then for the last probably 7 or 8 attempts up to this point, one wave has completely derailed the entire run. I sent a run on Friday night because I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to play on Saturday. Like, I might as well send a run late Friday night after we did our like big boss bash event, which went awesome, by the way. I wasn't there on Saturday night, and we're doing one in a couple of hours here to like round out the weekend. But the Friday night one was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
I have not had that much fun doing group content in forever. But late Friday night, I hopped in, and it was beautiful. We used 2 shield pops by wave like 30. I want to say by like wave 37, wave 38. We used the shield. Because now we use the Ancient Mace spec, so we go in with 127 prayer instead of 90.
Oh, that's powerful.
Yeah, so we're delaying when we use the shield. Yeah, we didn't use any brews at all. No double blob wave needed brews. No range mage wave needed brews until wave 56, where it was a dog shit spawn. And it was like Well, on one side, I have 2 blobs that are too far away for me to reach with most of my weapons. Like, I could reach one, but not the other one.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other side of the pillar, I have a ranged mage stack that's not in a position that I can run out and off-tick them.
Oh, dang.
So, because like I was on the east side of the pillar, east side of the north pillar. And I'm like, whatever. When in doubt, send it south. Sent it south, and just like the blobs maxed on every single hit, like 8 times in a row. I couldn't even drink brews fast enough. And that was the first time I drank brews in the entire encounter. We had used 2 shields and probably like 3 doses of restore getting to that point. We were absolutely cheering.
Yeah.
And then one wave derailed the entire run. That has been, like I said, the last probably 7 or 8 runs. Is we're feeling fantastic. Something happens in like the mid 50s and shit falls apart. So it's been like, you know, it's been rough. It's been frustrating. But I mean, the waves feel good. We're not. I don't want to say we're consistently getting through them because like we haven't been to Zuck since last episode.
Yeah.
But we're like solving them a hell of a lot quicker. So I still like to think it's coming, you know, and I will push for it before tomorrow when the big raid drops. You might be seeing me do a little bit of Inferno today, as a matter of fact, which is going to go against main title content just a little bit. But if I could get the cape, that'd be awesome. I was talking to Immortal the other day, though, that like I am a little concerned that like if I get my cape today or I got my cape yesterday, or even if I get it like tonight while we're recording, you know, Jagex is going to be like, that's a little sus.
Oh.
Because when Theater of Blood came out, the amount of Infernal capes that came into the game like skyrocketed in the weeks prior to Theater of Blood because it was going to be really hard. And it was like, well, if you don't have a cape, you can't come with us. So people were buying capes like crazy. So I'm like, well, that's going to look a little suspicious if I get my Infernal cape the night before Raids 3 releases. So I don't know. He said if that happens. So it's not like... Look at the history of my account and the amount of like failed attempts, or check my Twitter, or listen to my podcast. Like, I'm not buying a cape ever, but like
you won't even take a T-bow loan. So
yeah, I'm getting to the point where I'm getting to the point where I'm like, what if I did take a T-bow loan?
What if you did?
What if I did take? After watching Jesse do an Inferno with a T-bow, I'm really getting to the point of like, what if I did take a T-bow loan? Because like a T-bow is not going to help me solve any of the waves.
Yeah.
T-bow's just going to smack 70s and call it good.
Should.
But
just do it. Send it.
I don't know. I'm still torn of whether or not taking a T-bow loan invalidates the cape.
You have the skill to get it. You've already proven that you can get to Zuck. It's just mishaps, I think. Like, if you were trying to prove anything, you've done that. And I think at this point, you should just take the loan.
Don't prove it till you get the cape. You know what I'm saying? But no, and like I understand that like a single item is not going to imbue me with the skill set to suddenly do shit.
Right.
You know? But still, so
imbue it faster. It's gonna give you
it's gonna do it. Yeah. It's gonna knock 20 minutes off of the PB is pretty much what the T-bow is gonna do. It's gonna knock 20 minutes off because Jad's gonna go quick, Mage's gonna go quick. But like I said, it's a definite maybe, but also quite possibly no. Yeah, and literally other than that, we did the boss event. I'm thieving right now for the first time since we recorded last week's episode because holy shit, thieving is terrible. I've still played Arc because I may or may not have snapped at the boys in VC one night after failing an Inferno attempt. So I'm like, I'm gonna take a couple days off, play a different game for a while. Yeah, the boss event on Friday and the boss event last night and the boss event tonight. Super fun. What about you, Michael?
I got my fire cape on my group Iron Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe there was a fun cold opener. Maybe we're going to pull clips of your first fire cape. Maybe that'll be the cold opener, dude. Who knows?
I think there's definitely some good ones there. Got chanced at least twice where I don't know what I was doing, but I was literally trying to flick Eagle Eye and my mouse just hovered over Protect from Melee. And I was flicking Protect from Melee while trying to kill the Major. And it was like wave, I don't know, in the 40s something. You know, I just killed the Ranger. Yeah, it was bad. But I didn't die. Amazingly, did not die. And then there was two
on this episode of I Shouldn't Be Alive.
Exactly.
Holy shit.
And then there was 2 waves where I was like a tick late getting my mage prey back up and got chanced twice. So I could have died a lot of times during the fight. Did not.
Let's
so
go.
We got it.
Speaking of first fire capes, 10,000 Slugs just got his first fire cape.
Hell yeah.
Let's go. It popped up in the clan
Woo.
system notification. Let's go.
That man had 230 scales left at wave
Oh
56.
my God. What a man. What a man.
So yeah, I got my fire cape on my group Iron Man. Second actual attempt, because I mean at this point I don't really count the attempt that I did last year. It was an attempt. I don't remember what wave I got to. Do you remember? I think it was in the 30s.
You got to like 40. No, it was like 46. It was similar to where you died before.
Okay. Yeah.
Or not died, but like did your tactical reset, as it were.
Yeah. So I the differences in this one from last week to when I got it a couple days ago was I had a higher prayer level, which arguably didn't really matter. I was already 52, I think, and I got up to 60. So 60 prayer. And this time I actually took Blood Blitz, which I think was like that made all the difference in my opinion, because there was like at least 5 or 6 waves where I probably could have just, ate all the strawberries that I took, but I was able to use the melee and the little blobs to Blood Blitz all the way back up to full health in preparation for like tanking rangers. So Blood Blitz made the difference, I think, this time, which was great.
Rangers also have relatively low mage defense in the fight games, I'm pretty sure. So you can, I've spent some time around the Tazar monsters, and I've used a couple runes on blood spells with Tazar monsters. You can barrage anything, including the majors. Generally, you got to be down real bad to barrage the majors or blitz the majors, whatever. But if you ever send another run, definitely blood spells are nice.
Yeah.
Pro tip for you with getting your prayer back on: do you play with game music, or are you some punk bitch coward who doesn't?
Definitely a punk bitch coward.
Oh my God.
I play with game sounds occasionally, but never game music.
But not game music? Oh my God. All right, well, that's my new rule for Raids 3. All of you, I need to listen to any other music people. You have to turn the Raids 3 music on when it comes out. I don't make the rules, except this time I do. That music and game sounds better be on full blast for Raids 3. But in between every wave, there's a sound cue. So you go dun 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 dun. I hope that's synced up on the recording. But in that cue where at the very end where it goes dun 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 dun, if you turn your prayer on at the start of that, you're guaranteed to do it. You can turn it on at the end of it too, but apparently turning prayers on quickly ain't your specialty from what I've heard.
Nope.
Because there were a couple instances of Michael just took a 6 off prayer. That should have killed him.
Yeah. One of the times I was just messing with my channel points, and I had just forgotten. And I look back over and TMD screaming at me, Michael, Mage Prey! But luckily this time the major had to come around the corner, so I had at least a second or two, and I was just fumbling so bad. Shout out to TMD. He hopped in VC with me a couple times and coached me through some waves, coached me through solves. It was really nice. It felt good.
I'm gonna yeet your ass into the Inferno after Raids 3 comes out because
I got maxing to do, brother.
You also don't solve fight caves waves. You just kill the okay. We're gonna send you into the Inferno, and you're gonna think the fight caves is a cakewalk after about a month.
You've changed, Oxie. You've changed.
I have changed. I don't know if it's for the better or for the worse. I think we made a joke on Friday that was Oxie is gone. I am what remains.
Yes.
Yeah, it was.
You need an Inferno cape and a nap.
Inferno cape, a nap, a lobotomy, stiff drink. We need lots of things, boys. Yeah. We need lots of things. But we're not here to talk about that. We talked about that last week, preparing for high-level PVM. And now we're going to talk about preparing for one specific instance of high level PVM. So if you guys are keen listeners and you listen to us like as soon as the episode comes out, you might notice something weird about this episode. It's Tuesday.
Hello, Tuesday.
That's normally we release on Thursdays. Why did we release on Tuesday? Because Raids 3 comes out tomorrow. And Michael and I thought to ourselves, well, why bother doing a Raids 3 episode and like talking about content that we don't know what it's going to be a day after it comes out? You know, it's going to be weird to like talk about something the day after someone's already completed it. So we figured we're going to release it on Tuesday so we can give you guys some like preparation tips, and we're going to kind of talk about what we know from Raids 3 so far. And then you guys have like 24 hours-ish to repair. To prepare. Maybe repair, who knows? Go repair your Barrow's armor, damn it. Go do it in your house, or go have that swindler Bob in Lumbridge fix it for you. Go repair that. That's first thing. Go repair Barrow's armor.
Because you don't know you're walking in there at 25%, not realizing it, and then bam, you just have like a broken Aram's top. Don't want that.
Yeah.
Definitely don't want that.
Ever had your Varix helm break on you? I have.
It's in line with like losing scales and not realizing it.
Yep. Ever been on wave 56 of your first ever fire cape attempt and run out of scales and have to kick the major to death? I have. I guess that kind of does, you know, the jokes kind of segue into a really big point that we kind of wanted to talk about before Raids 3. Before even like getting into the raid. We don't know what is going to be there. We know that there are going to be 4 demi-bosses that presumably have a puzzle room followed by a combat encounter. That's kind of what we've been able to gather so far.
Mm-hmm.
It said bosses and monsters will not count towards Slayer tasks, so don't bring a Slayer helm or anything like that. So crocodiles, monkeys, scarabs, that's not going to count on a Slayer task.
I wonder why. I guess because like if you do a shaman's task, if you have a shaman's task for chambers, it counts.
Shamans is 3 shamans, not an entire like demi boss room.
Yeah.
You know, you do 2 lizardmen shamans in chambers versus Baba, who is both a monkey and has a bunch of monkey minions. Zebek is a crocodile. Kefri might be considered a scarab, you know, and then Akka is a person. Those are the 4 demi-bosses that we were expecting to see in the raid. There's going to be a puzzle, there's probably going to be some skilling, and then there's going to be a combat encounter that may also involve skilling as well. From what we've seen from the trailers, we don't know yet. Followed by the final boss fight that has truly not been announced for shit. They have not said like anything. They even released like a teaser video. Tasty did a whole video about the rooms, and then as soon as it went to like, and then you'll face the final boss, and the whole thing like faded out and got all weird, and the video just ended right there. They have done a very good job of not revealing the final boss. The only thing we know about it is that there is 2 bosses at the same time.
Oh.
2 twin bosses is the only thing that I am aware of that we are aware of, if that makes any sense. And it's going to be very similar to Verzik and Ulm, where you cannot get rewards until after you defeat them. Right? So we know very little going into this, right? So we're going to try to use some of our knowledge of other PVM and other skilling encounters and other raids to help you guys prepare in the best way possible, because we know about as much as you do. On Sunday, August 21st at 4:47 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we've not had a whole lot of new information. Tomorrow, on Monday, they're probably going to release some new trailers. Same thing with Tuesday.
Yeah.
So we might know a little bit more after this episode releases, but we still probably won't have seen the final boss until Wednesday.
Arguably, Oxie, we should have recorded this on Tuesday and then just mad dash to edit it and get it out on Tuesday.
That would have, I mean, honestly, we could. All right, guys, see you in a couple days. I think if you didn't have to work, we probably could have done that.
Yeah, you're right.
Because we would have had to wait till like 6 o'clock at night, and then I would have had to like basically slap it into a recording booth track unedited, and people would have been like, sorry, European XP wasters, guess you guys don't get shit tonight. You know, God, the Aussie XP wasters are like, man, it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
On Tuesday,
why would you put this out in hell?
The Aussie XP wasters are already doing the raid, so they're like in the future they can do the raid already.
No, that's not how that works.
It's like Wednesday at 1 o'clock.
That's, oh my God.
Just kidding.
I was just saying, oh my God, Michael, UTC.
Sometimes you just have to not take me seriously, but other times you do. I don't know. I don't put off a good sarcastic energy, I guess.
You don't. So I've fallen trapped to like, oh yeah, Michael's totally kidding. Yeah, Michael's absolutely kidding. 100%. He's kidding. And then you actually wear green tea hide to Chambers of Xeric. And it's like, oh my God, what do you mean? No. like, oh
gosh.
So I've learned to be a little cautious every now and again. But so yeah, I guess the first thing we want to say about this raid, not really getting into the invocations, which we will get to in a second here. Prepare now. Now is the time to prepare. There are lots of things for you to prepare as well. Michael and I have a little list of things that you guys either should have done already or should do today to prepare for raids 3. You want to get into it, Michael, or do you want me to kick this one off?
I'll kick it off. So, gear is going to be the main thing that we can prepare for. Based off of speculation, based off of past raids, like Oxie said, you know there's going to be some things that are a given. There metas will develop. That's a given. I think we mentioned it last week, like just absolutely laughing at all the people who took T-bows into Theater of Blood. That hilarious, right? But we know now T-bow is useless there. So there's going to be metas that develop, but the things that we can go ahead.
T-bow's not useless. T-bow's just not as effective, which we'll get to. But
yeah,
don't take a T-bow to Theater of Blood unless you're doing pre-hits is the point. Continue. I'm sorry.
The things that we can prepare for are supplies. So yeah, now, like the day before the raid might not have been the best time to stock up, but you definitely don't want to stock up tomorrow if you're listening to this on the day of that, the day it comes out. So I think when Next came out, nobody really understood that you would just absolutely be chugging brews and restores. I felt bad for people who had to go and resupply the day Next came out because the price of those things skyrocketed. It's possible that this could happen.
Super restore simulator the morning of Next. Holy shit. With the COVID phase, with everybody coughing because nobody knew how to like dissipate the cough. Oh my God, millions were spent.
Yeah.
I think everyone in our Next team spent millions on restores by like probably 2:00 in the afternoon because we had just burned through the hundreds that we had already bought.
Yeah.
Because like this was even like before they hot patched the Slayer helm or hot fixed the Slayer helm to like make it dissipate the cough faster. Oh, it was so bad.
I mean, Next dropped that stuff too, which made it even more frustrating. It's like the drops that you're getting aren't even resupplying you for what you're having to use. It was insane.
Yeah, getting prayer potions from Next on day 1 was infuriating because you're like, this is good. I have prayer, but also like my stats are dropping to 0. Like I have to leave.
Bye. Can't come back. So yeah, get your supplies now because tomorrow and the days following will probably be a lot. Now, the only caveat to that is we could have said, if this was the podcast that was predating Chambers of Xeric, we would tell you, get your supplies. But in the Chambers of Xeric, they have where you can make your own. So we don't know the mechanics. We don't know the nitty gritty things that will happen, but it's most likely that you'll need supplies. We can't say for sure whether or not you'll be able to farm and make them. That's a speculation, could make, but unlikely.
I am going to counter it and say that you absolutely need supplies going in. But I'm also going to agree with you to a further extent and say there's absolutely going to be some way to get supplies within the raid.
Yeah, because you can do it in
one
TOB
piece
also.
Of content that I can think of right now that is incredibly difficult, takes a long time, and doesn't offer you any supplies throughout the encounter, and that's the Inferno. It's the only one I can think of. Because Nightmare, Fazani's Nightmare, Gauntlet, you can either get your own food or the kills don't take that long and you can resupply, or you don't take that much damage. You are absolutely going to need supplies going into TOA. And you are absolutely going to get supplies in TOA. What that looks like, no idea. In Chambers, you get them as drops from monsters, and you can make them yourself. In Theater of Blood, you have a limited amount of points to buy a select number of items that you have to like manage your currency with, so to speak. We have no idea what it could be. Could be like a favor system with a certain god. Like maybe a meta is like you get favor with one god by killing another god, because they have the four like the quasi deities. There's Het, Ampekin, Scarabus, and Krondus, because those are like, you know, the guardians of those are the demi bosses. So let's say if you kill Zebek, guardian of Krondus, you get points with Het, and Het will give you shit because you've killed Krondus first.
Oh, that's interesting.
I don't know this for sure. I'm just like, that's a possible suggestion.
Yeah.
That there's like a demigod favor system.
And they have
point is,
and like each have stuff they would give you that the other one doesn't give you.
yeah. So point is, there's going to be some way to get supplies, but you absolutely are going to need supplies going in, especially if you're going to be like me, who's just going to be like, all right, I'm going to go like, you know, Bravo 6 going dark. The only people who are going to be able to contact me is my raid team for the next like 5 days. You know, like you want to stock up. Like if you have extra money laying around, if you're in a weird spot where you're like, I have 10 mil, I really don't have any gear upgrades I can buy right now, but like I also, you know, like I have things I want to buy, but like a Tebow is $1 billion away from what I have or whatever. Buy a shitload of supplies. And we don't just mean brews and restores and prayer pots. We mean hard food. We mean ammunition. We mean runes. We mean charges.
Yeah.
Blood runes. Buy your blood runes. Buy your chaos, death, fire runes. Make sure you buy your damn Zulrah scales. Holy shit, buy Zulrah scales. You know? Like, you're going to need... If you have a T-bow, make sure you have dragon arrows.
Yep.
Like, yes, amethyst arrows are good, but unless you're an Iron Man, just buy dragon arrows for a twisted bow. If you've got the money laying around or you have the time, corrupt your Bofa. Make sure that your armor has charges. Like we said at the top of the episode, repair your Barrow's armor. Make sure you everything is fully charged up. Put some recoils in your Ring of Suffering if you plan on bringing it. If you got that money, maybe buy a blood shard, just to make sure you have a little bit of extra healing. But like now, today is the time to stock up on everything,
right?
If you have money, because regardless of what the raid has to offer, you're gonna need it. Because like Theater of Blood gives you a chest, right? Chambers of Zarek is a little bit different because the layouts are always a little weird. Like you could go through an entire Chambers and not actually. Why do you think no preps exist? Like you don't need to buy anything, or you don't need to make anything,
right?
Go to Theater of Blood without any knowledge of how to do it. Get past Maiden and Bloat, or don't bring supplies in for Maiden and Bloat. Like, it's gonna be bad if you don't know what to do.
That's very true. Like, there's no guarantee you're gonna get these supplies early if they exist in the raid.
Exactly. Like, I can do Maiden and Bloat by using like 1 or 2 sips of Restore. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to bring supplies in case something goes wrong. You absolutely are going to have to bring supplies in. To what ratio, we don't know. And we can get into what gear we think is probably going to be viable to wear, but for the moment, like I'm very much in the mindset of like play it safe and bring enough food. I don't know what enough food looks like for you. I mean, if you can run no prep challenge modes with 2 brews and call it good, if you bring 2 brews and 2 restores into Verzik, and you don't like drink any of it, like, or real, like, you know, you don't drink an unreasonable amount, maybe you don't need a ton of food. Maybe you have that inventory space for switches. You know, if you're still taking Void to Tob and you're pack yak and using all your stuff, you're gonna want a lot of space. In your thing. Which we have another point about, because I've been talking a lot about theater and chambers. We have Michael has an additional point. We're getting ahead of ourselves a lot because we're very excited. But I can go absolutely into that now. Absolutely number 1 point is supplies. Darts, arrows, scales, runes, charges, potions, hard food, Karam wands. Make sure you got it. If there's something, because like anti-poisons, Maybe get spicy and buy anti-venoms. I don't think you're going to need anti-fire potions. I really don't.
Couldn't.
Nothing in there seems draconic.
Yeah, I can't see.
Can't
see fire being an issue.
I really would not, unless it's something stupid like you take less damage, kind of like how you do at Cerberus.
Yeah,
like if you take an anti-fire pot, you take less damage from the lava pits or whatever.
So
unless it's a stupid mechanic like that, you don't have to worry about taking anti-fire. I wouldn't think. So yes, supplies.
Yeah, supplies are going to be easy to stock up on now. Because I mean, granted, you can tell you back to the GE at any point, but like we said, stuff is probably going to skyrocket. I just bought 500 brews while we're recording, and they're like 7.4K each. So if they're more, this was on Sunday. Then,
well, they're gonna go up, but not to the sense where like if brews hit 20K a piece, something has gone horribly wrong.
Yeah.
Like this raid is very poorly designed. If brews are 20K a piece,
that's very true.
They're gonna go up to like 7,700 on Sunday. They might hit 9K on Wednesday morning.
Yeah,
just because people are like shit, like trying to panic buy. But they'll go back down in the coming days.
Yeah.
So if you buy a couple hundred and you only have time to like raid after work or raid before work or raid during work like a degenerate, like you don't need to buy thousands of these things. I'm just saying be prepared.
Yeah, get a couple hundred.
Right?
Like don't have 3 in your bank like I just did. Get yourself a good stock. Because like if you're going with friends, most likely somebody can throw you a brew or two if you need it.
Mm-hmm.
But you could also be the person to say, hey, I have a couple extra brews. Here you go. So
yeah, I mean, we flame the pack yaks on occasion, but I mean, if you can keep the whole damn party alive because you're taking 8 brews with you to an encounter and they only brought 2 because they're trying to be big dick PVMers, I don't know, man. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
We also don't know how the respawn system's going to work.
Oh, true.
They talk about that in Invocations, but I'm going to imagine it's going to be more akin to Chambers where you can like kind of die and reset, although they do have an invocation here that says hardcore run that says limits the overall amount of attempts that can be made to 1.
Whoa.
Where it will effectively turn into the Theater of Blood wipe system. Whoa. But it will be the Theater of Blood wipe system in every demi-boss room.
Oh, gotcha.
So if you all make it through the first 3 but you plank at the last demi-boss,
gone.
The raid's over.
Yeah.
Kind of exactly like how Theater of Blood is right now.
Yeah. I can't imagine, just going back to the first point made, because I really thought about it. There's 5 encounters that you go through. I can't imagine there being no way to get supplies. So that at least we can say with confidence, there'll be something. So if you're worried about that, like inventory management, all that kind of stuff. So for reference, I take about 2 to 3 brews and at least a couple restores going into chambers. And then once you get to your farming room, that's when you make all of the stuff you need for Ohm. And then how much supplies do you take into to the theater?
Let me go to my bank here really quick. For chambers, I take 3 brews, 3 restores, Stam, Super Combat, Range, Sandfew, which is probably going to be what I take into TOA.
Yeah.
And then for Theater of Blood, I take 2 Super Combats, Range Potion, 3 Restores, 4 Brews, and 2 Anglers.
Okay.
But I also have a lot of switches and like disposable items in there as well.
So realistically, we'll probably end up taking 5 brews, 4 restores, maybe. I'm thinking maybe that's...
I might take 4 and 4.
4 and 4?
This is a decent transition to like what we're wearing into TOA. Yeah. I don't know about you, but I have not really I need to do that probably today or tomorrow. Today being Sunday, and tomorrow,
take inventory.
Sit down and exactly. Take inventory, plan something to bring in. Troll brought up that he thinks stams will be important in the raid. I would absolutely agree. From what we've seen, it looks like there's going to be a lot of running throughout some of the puzzle rooms, like the Zebek room. That kind of looks like somebody in another Discord I'm in said that it looks like Soap Maze 24/7.
Oh,
so staminas will probably play a pretty important factor. You know, don't like panic buy 1,000 staminas, but again, make sure you have them. But
The counterpoint I have
as
to
far
that
as
is that Jagex has been doing a lot of content where they're just giving stamina away. Like you can
but this isn't
do-
Mahogany Homes. This is a raid.
Yeah, I know, but
Like it might be after the encounter, like they have in Chambers, that little like magic pool,
Mhm.
you know. And at the end of every room, they restore all your stats and special attacks and
And,
everything
yeah.
at Theater of Blood.
I wish they did that.
They don't
for-
restore your stats. They restore your health and stamina and all that
Yeah.
in prayer.
I wish they did that in Chambers. That'd be kind of nice. But I have to think maybe once you finish a room in TOA, that they'll like restore everything. It'd be
I
kinda
would
nice.
not put it past them to between after Akka, Baba, Kefri, and Zebek. I would not put it past them that after all 4 of those bosses, it's a TOB style refresh
Mhm.
where you get everything back. I think Troll means for during the encounter.
Yeah.
Like if you're running a lot for puzzles, if you're running a lot, because like we saw that one trailer with Baba and all had all those like mini baboons in it.
Mhm.
That looks like really Nilo adjacent, and like you need a stamina at the Nilo room. You need a stamina sip to do Nilo for some rolls. But no, as far as what gear I'm taking, I'm gonna guess it's gonna be a blend between theater and chambers. Part of me, and this is gonna sound a little ridiculous, part of me is tempted to bring a void setup.
I don't think that's ridiculous.
Part of me is tempted to bring my full elite void, like learner Theater of Blood setup, only because we don't know what's happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
The only reason why I'm not probably going to do that is because things in the desert poison you, and Serphelm go burr for that.
It's very true.
So
There's a reason Serphelm has shot up in the last week.
yeah, I'm kind of thinking like just like free balling off the top of my head. I think it's gonna look a lot similar to what I take to Chambers.
I was just
I
thinking
might try to do like I might do 6-way mage 4-way range, if that makes sense. Which like I'm sure we'll get to again. And then melee, I'm not really sure. I might be that guy who wears a fury in to whatever. Like I'll bring the anguish and the occult. Probably too. So maybe I'll bring a torture. I'm not entirely sure. Like I said, I haven't planned it out a ton, right? I'm just like spitballing with what I know from other pieces of content that could be helpful or would have been helpful on day one.
Right.
You know?
Right.
We don't know if there's going to be a way for you to bank things because you can bank in Chambers, but you can't bank in Tob.
Yeah.
So we don't know what like storage is going to look like. So I mean, if it's like Chambers where you can bring 7-way switches and just bank shit you don't need, like perfect. That's awesome, you know? But yeah, we're just not sure of that.
Are there any invocations that say takes away the bank?
No, not yet. So some of them are still secret. A lot of the ones for the demi bosses are still secret, and then as of right now, they have 4 invocations called Walk the Path, Path Seeker, Pathfinder, and Path Master, which those are all secret. It says it has to do with paths.
Oh,
I don't know what that means.
gotcha.
I don't know what that means. Like, is it damage? Is it you have to take a certain order? Like, I'm really not sure. They've also kind of briefly mentioned, I think, that like, you know, killing the demi-bosses changes the raid in some way. What that means, I'm not sure. So that's why I'm again coming back to like maybe Elite Void ? Because if you can do a little bit of everything with Elite Void, that might be helpful because you don't know what is happening. Like you're certainly going to lose DPS, and like unless your whole team takes Elite Void, you're not going to MVP in Elite Void 100%. Unless everybody else dies, you're the only one who survives. But I'm gonna I don't know. I'll have to sit and I'll talk with some of my other friends who are, you know, also sweaty degen PVMers, and we'll probably figure something out. And I'll just replace their Torva with my Bandos because I'm poor and don't have a ton of Torva. But what about you, Michael? Do you have any sort of idea of like what you want to take to TOA? Because you took days off. Like you're gonna be there on Wednesday, like day one, right?
I am. Yeah. Like I'm waking up at 4 a.m. and I'm scaping all day.
But and just because the people need to know, right? Your wife took that day off too,
She
right?
did. She's an absolute queen. She texted me and she said, what day is the raid again? And I said, it's Wednesday the 24th. So didn't hear anything for like a good hour. She texted me like an hour later and she said, I took the 24th off. I was like, what? She's, yeah, my baby needs his protected time. She's like, all I ask is that you come out and say hi every once in a while. It's like, hell yeah. Absolute queen. So
Absolute queen shit right there.
I will be hopefully like I have 95% confidence that I'm going to be raiding all day. And the other 5% is that like I don't want to sound too negative, but it is a small chance. It's a small percentage. The small percentage chance happens that I just get way too overwhelmed. I get bored, just get disinterested. Like it's not what I thought. And I just like train agility the entire day, which wouldn't really be fair to my wife or my job that I took off for 3 days. But like, you know,
I mean, you don't know the job shit, but you know.
But I'm confident that this will be a fun encounter. I guess that kind of segues to the main point that I wanted to make, and that is, if we haven't lost you yet, if you are like a mid game player, say you're an end game player, but you're say you're an end game player,
skilling
but you're
end game
like
player,
yeah, or like you're just like scared of raids, hesitant to raid. Say
you don't like do
before?
content with people.
Yeah.
So like you might have a shitload of like Gauntlet KC or like, you know, Slayer boss KC, but I've never done a raid because like I hear it all the time, like, oh, I don't have anyone to go with.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Or you're like 2K total, but you are still going on learner raids, max combat. This is for you. So listen up. If we haven't lost you yet, if you're still listening, I want you to know that this is going to be accessible by nearly everyone. I would go out on a very thin and shaky limb with confidence and say, the only thing that you need for this raid is to do the quest. Day one, there will be people who complete it with no invocations, who would be considered like learners in a chambers. Very, very confident saying that. And that's partially what's carrying me through this whole experience, because I was not there day one of chambers. I was not there day one of TOB, but I'm going to be there day one of this one with confidence, knowing that like the 7 other people that I'm with, the 6 other people, whatever the team size is going to be, we're all learning this together. And there will be sweaty people. There will be people who, you know, like the streamers and the elite, the high level community is going to take this and run with it. But like, I really truly believe that anybody can do this raid as long as you have the gear that will get you through it. Skill wise, there's going to be a learning curve. That's with everything. But I don't want to hear anybody saying, I've never done a raid before, I can't do TOA, because I think Jagex has really thought that out. Like TOB is some of the hardest content in the game to learn.
At its base level, Theater of Blood is the single hardest piece of group content in the entire game.
Yep.
And they have gone out and said that they do not plan in the near future, or even medium future at least, to release anything more difficult than Theater of Blood at a base level. A max invocation level raid, like if you're going to bump it up to 580 and just go like crazy cracked off the chain, I kind of picture like a 580 raid for all my Halo fans out there. Just in case you guys didn't know, I'm a big Halo fan myself. Just in case you guys have played that. If you guys ever heard of Lasso, Legendary all skulls on, where normal Halo on Legendary is like difficult but doable, whereas Lasso is like a single mistake, you restart the whole level. And enemies are stronger, your weapons don't have as much ammo, you know, your shields don't regenerate. Like, invocations are basically skulls, from what I'm gathering. Some skulls are good, some skulls help you out, some skulls make the encounter so much worse. Like, like, the infinite ammo skull versus something like the mythic skull or the tilt skull or the catch skull. Dude, I hate the catch skull, famine or whatever. Those are examples from a different game that kind of correlate to, the invocation system here. Some of these might be good. Some of these might be like just hard. Like, we don't know.
Yeah. We don't know. But what we do know is that 0 invocations is basically entry mode. So the only real entry mode example we have is Theater of Blood. And that, although it's Theater of Blood entry mode, it's still very doable by many mid-game accounts. Like, there's a reason that it's a I would say not master level quest, but it's definitely an experienced quest. But there's a reason they could have made it into a quest, is because it's doable. So you will get through it. You may have your bloody corpse dragged through it, but I can foresee a lot of people getting it done. Now, when you're talking about adding more invocations, like really making this, I'm doing TOA, that's a different story. Tyler in the recording boot chat said, you can do any raid. It's just about doing it more consistently and turning it into a moneymaker. He's exactly right. Like, I think anybody can be carried through a raid. Now, if you're doing it, 10 times a day and you're trying to make money, that's when the gear, the skill, the time, the commitment comes in. But if your goal day one is to get through TOA, we're going to do it. We're going to do it together. Be confident.
Yeah. Exactly. I have no doubts that people will get through a no invocation TOA. And even then, a normal mode, like, what is a normal mode? Normal mode Chambers of Xeric is pretty easy until you get to Ulm.
Yeah.
And even then, it's like, it's forgiving because you can just reset and go back into Ulm, Whereas with Theater of Blood, normal mode is... Yikes. Normal mode Tob is hard.
Yeah.
So I'm going to imagine it's maybe somewhere in the middle, but probably closer to Chambers.
Mm-hmm.
We know nothing about how the boss mechanics work. We've seen some videos, but we just don't know off the top of our heads. So yeah, I'm with Michael on that one. You need the levels to do Beneath Cursed Sands. And to throw out, like, I'm gonna, like, maybe 70 combats, like, that's probably a safe bet, right?
Yeah.
75 so you can wield the trifecta. If you have base 75s, you're getting a completion no problem.
Yep. The quest log for Beneath Cursed Sands, because I haven't done it yet, it says what is recommended is just combat level 85. So that technically is base 70s. But again, to wield the items that you need to make this viable, because we've seen melee be a big part of it. We've seen magic be a huge part of it. And I don't know if range is a big part, but usually range is always a thing. Just because standing and killing enemies from a distance very quickly with a blowpipe is generally preferred over standing there trying to take hits. So
it's interesting you bring that up, because it is something I kind of wanted to touch on a little bit. Let's look at the other raids that are out. Mm-hmm. Specifically, let's look at the weapons that got rewarded. What did we get from Chambers of Xeric? We got the Twisted Bow.
Yep.
What is used literally everywhere within Chambers of Xeric range? Yes, the T-Bow is also used everywhere, but let's look at the rooms at Chambers of Xeric. You use a T-Bow at Vasa, I think. Pretty sure. You T-Bow Vasa for a little while. You use a range at Mutadiles. You use range at Mystics. You use it at Tightrope. You use it at Shamans. You just use range a lot throughout the fight, and then you literally have to use it to kill Ulm. Mm-hmm. Although, granted, at Ulm you have to use all 3 combat styles. Jump over to Theater of Blood. What do you get from Theater of Blood? Scythe of the Tour. What is far and away the combat style that you use in every single room? Melee. With the exception being Nilo. Sometimes you might get a range or mage roll, where you focus on the range or mage crabs, but you still have to use melee for the final boss, right? The other 5 rooms of TOB, are predominantly melee rolls. And like we said earlier, the T-bow still works. You can use a T-bow on Zarpus. You can use a T-bow on Verzik. It's not nearly as good as using a scythe or a rapier or a tent whip or anything like that, because melee is the style you want to use. I would guess, right? This is just me guessing. Chambers of Xeric dropped us Ancestral Armor, which is cool, but like Ancestral is not needed to complete the raid, whereas Range is. Theater of Blood dropped us Justiciar Armor, which is super tanky and probably really helpful for like Verzik melees if you're a bad tank, but it's not used ever in that raid. So while Missouri is going to be probably max cash for a while, because of the range strength bonus, it'll probably level out with Torva here in a couple of months, because it's straight up the new best in slot. It's the new best in slot. The Shadow of Tumekin is what tells me this is going to be a mage heavy raid.
Agreed.
At least from what we've gathered from other raids. Again, I could be completely wrong.
Right? Why would they
range is king in old school RuneScape? Like, find me a monster that is like feasibly not killable with range. And I mean, like, it's a bad idea to take range there. Like a really bad idea. And it's difficult to do that because when we did Sarachnis on Friday, we had people with rune crossbows, ruby bolting Sarachnis for fun.
Yeah.
People ruby bolt spec court. People, you can use the crossbow on all of the NPCs in the wilderness for things like that. You can use range. You can T-bow Verzik. You shouldn't, but you can. So, like, you can use range pretty much everywhere. I don't think range is a bad choice to bring. But I would go out on a limb and say that Mage is going to be king in TOA specifically with the
final boss.
I don't know. Yeah, with the Shadow, with the final boss, they've got this new potion, the Menophyte Remedy. I've not really read too much about it. It restores... It's 6 plus 16% of the player's combat stats every 15 seconds over the course of 5 minutes. So it's kind of like an overload, but it doesn't quite overload you too much. It doesn't boost above your stats. That's helpful for something that people don't bring with them, which is magic potions. If your magic gets if your magic gets drained, you just have to use a super restore or an overload or one of these new Menophyte remedies.
Yeah.
Again, that's me kind of grasping at straws, but like I really would guess that like Mage is going to be it. When they proposed the Heka of Tumekin, the wand that had different effects for all 4 spellbooks, why would they make it so specific with all 4 spellbooks?
Yeah.
If Mage was not applicable in that raid, because let's look at where's the best place to bring the Twisted Bow? Chambers of Xeric. Where's the best place to bring the Scythe of Atur? Theater of Blood. Where's the best place going to be to bring the Shadow of Tumekin? Probably Tombs of AMASCUT.
Yeah.
They had already designed another magic weapon that got scrapped, right? So like
they're putting a lot of emphasis into magic.
I would at least guess they are.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy Blood Runes today. I'm also probably gonna buy Dragon Darts because I hate myself and I'm gonna try the Inferno. But like also, in line with like preparing, like we talked about earlier, maybe you spend the day Blood Rune crafting today. Just because like you need runes and money.
Yeah.
Who knows, dude?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think magic is really gonna play a pretty decent part because, if you watch the trailers, there's a lot of people with like Torva, Infernal Capes, melee gear. Day one does not dictate everything. Michael, what is an example that you could think of in recent history
Probably
where people thought something was going to be big
you're doing this
and
to me
it
now.
turned out to be shit?
Doing this to me right now.
I'm going to do it to you right now. What was it?
It was Armadillo crossbow at Nex.
The Armadillo crossbow at Nex, exactly. A cold one tweeted a couple weeks ago, right? The Vorkath trailer had the dude maging it. The Nightmare trailer had people DPSing with a Dragon Warhammer. The Inferno trailer had somebody jumping in with a guy in full void with an ACB and a DFS, and the Theater of Blood had people casting fire waves. Now, think of that today.
That's
from what we've
hilarious.
seen from the trailers. The first line alone, Maging Vorkath. Just think about that for a second. What? So while we see a bunch of people in max melee gear beating the shit out of some of these enemies, it might be a matter of like, yeah, the monkeys are overwhelming if you're using melee, but like they die instantly if you cast Shadow Barrage. You know, like I don't know what spellbook I'm going to be on. Part of me wants to go standard, but I feel like I'm going to go with ancient just so I have ice and blood.
It's in the desert. What spellbook do you get in the desert?
That is true. You do get the ancient spellbook in the desert. So, I mean, maybe the ancient spellbook is a good shout. There's actually an invocation called Ancient Haste on here. So maybe that has something to do with it. There's one called Blood Thinners, you know.
Ooh.
Oh my God, wait. Blood Thinners is for Zebek. So maybe you need to cast Blood Barrage. So, like, I don't know. This is just, we're speculating here. We're grasping at straws, trying to give you guys something to go into to Tombs of AMASCUT with, right?
Yeah.
So Mage heavy is what I'm going to predict, even though we haven't really seen a lot of people using Mage, and we certainly haven't seen the final boss.
Yeah. It's a good, I mean, it's a very good guess if Jagex is following suit with what they've done in the past, which there's no reason to believe that they won't. The game needs a new best in slot Mage something. Like right now, Sang staff is where it's at. I guess if you want to go more normal player, you have the Toxic Trident, or the Swamp, or whatever. So there's not
I'm
much.
bringing a Sang and a Kodai.
Okay. I'm actually thinking about buying a Sang right now, but I have like 40 mil to my name unless I get some of my.
I know a guy with some third age. He'd be happy to give you. Surely, if you needed something for TOA.
Probably take that back. So the on that point though, the Sang staff, is it only charged with blood runes?
Yeah, just blood runes.
Okay.
The only thing that needs vials of blood is the scythe.
Okay.
Which, interestingly enough, has 2 points about gear that I'm interested in. I was talking with TMD about it the other night. He and I sat in VC till like 4 o'clock in the morning, talking about all sorts of things. You know, mostly about RuneScape, like the Wilderness update that I kind of love and kind of hate, but we're not going to get into it too much today, but we'll see. He brought up 2 good points. That number one, you know, we kind of landed on this idea that look at the Osmumpton's Fang. It excels against high defense targets. And again, Old School in the last several years has done this really cool thing where they release content that rewards you with items to help you do the content better.
Yeah.
So while nothing is going to be more so than the Shadow, I'm sure maybe a weapon like a Scythe isn't going to be the most viable because of the accuracy bonus needed to hit some of these things because of the high defense. That said, I wouldn't leave a Scythe behind. I'm going to bring a Scythe and a Tent Whip.
Both?
You know,
Interesting.
you need two-handed and one-handed.
Oh.
What if the Scythe really isn't accurate at all? I mean, if I had a Rapier, I'd probably bring that. So I have Stab as well. You know, I can have Slash, Crush, and Stab with a Rapier. Maybe I'll bring a Dragon Hunter Lance just because it's a good stab weapon. I don't know if that's a great idea, but again, time will tell. Another point that is worth kind of mentioning, if we're really on the idea that magic is going to be the meta for this raid, the Twisted Bow might suck balls. Because the Twisted Bow hits higher the higher the magic level of the opponent. Right? So that's why it can hit 80s on Hydra and, you know, 80s on Zuck, things like that. Those are monsters that you don't ever use magic on because their magic level is so high, which dictates their magic defense. Or rather, dictates the amount of which, like, how often you can hit them.
Yeah.
Right? At least I'm pretty sure that's how that works. If you're able to use magic throughout a majority of the raid, would it not make sense that the monsters are going to have a relatively low magic level? So the T-bow might be capped at like 20 damage for some of these encounters. This isn't me suggesting you sell your T-bow or don't take it with you on the first couple of runs.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
if you have the space,
but
might as well try it.
exactly. Like we said, metas will develop. Who knows? We don't know anything about the raid yet. We don't have the stats of these monsters. Literally, if I click on any of these like demi bosses, we just have the work in progress pictures and we have a brief paragraph description about them. And it's literally like shot for shot of what they've said in promotions, like just word for word.
Mhm.
It's not like literally all the articles are stubs. Like they don't have stats, they don't have HP, you know. Some of these bosses might not even be directly attackable. Some of these bosses might have like environmental things that you have to do to destroy them. You know, some of these bosses might have things that you get within the encounter, like Zalcano, for example. So it might not matter what their magic level is. You know, I would guess there's a lot of combat within the raid, but we'll see.
Yeah. If guys like,
You know?
if you're still kind of struggling to follow along with what we're saying, go and watch the trailer that it was like the dev blog something.
Go watch the dev blog. Go watch the tasty video. Go watch the Guns Chili trailers about all the little demi bosses.
Yeah.
Go to the RuneScape page and just watch everything about Raids 3.
Mhm.
Just do it. Just watch everything about Raids 3.
After you're done listening to this podcast, of course.
Of course. Yes. Keep us on 24/7. But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot to speculate on, and you know, some like kind of other little points that we thought might be worth bringing up here as well. Today's what, Tuesday,
Mhm.
right? You have 24 hours before the raid comes out. What are you gonna do before that time? Like, what are you just gonna sit at TOA? Probably not.
No.
Right?
If you're me and Oxie, you're gonna do the quest.
Yeah, you're gonna that's the number one thing you have to do. You have to do
the
Beneath
quest.
Cursed
Yep,
Sands
just-
on Tuesday.
yep.
As long as Beneath Cursed Sands is down your
Any
cheering. But let's say it's done.
prerequisites.
Let's say it's done, right? What are you gonna do that day? Great thing to do, other than stock up on gear and like plan things out, is make money. Make money is the best way that you could probably spend the day.
Yep.
Spend some time at Vorcast, spend some time at the theater, spend some time flipping, spend some time doing floor 5 of the Hallowed Sepulchre for that ring. Do chambers with your friends. Do anything that will make you money. And I don't mean like life-changing T-bow money. I mean like have some flash money to spend on supplies.
Yeah.
Get a couple mil, get a decent green cash stack going if you can pull it off. Just in case you need to buy something. Like,
Yeah.
holy shit, guys, turns out the Zamorakian Hasta is the best in-slot weapon to bring here. I guess I actually now have to go get that instead of whatever. So you have a little bit of extra money to go buy that weapon, right? This is not a plug. I don't know what the Hasta is going to do.
Disclaimer.
I don't know if... Right, yeah. You know, so make some money today. Another good way to make money that Michael and I talked about a little while ago, Pyramid Plunder. Do Pyramid Plunder today. People are going to need Pharaoh Scepters to get 2 Tombs of AMASCUT.
Yeah.
Pharaoh Scepters are currently running at like 5 point something mil, 4 mil maybe. Let me look them up real quick. Pharaoh Scepters uncharged are 5.7 mil on Sunday. So they'll probably sit somewhere between 4 and 7 mil by
Wow.
the day of release tomorrow. So, because I don't know how the market's going to change in the coming days.
Yeah.
If you're not a PVMer, do Pyramid Plunder, dude. Get a Pharaoh Scepter, sell that for some money. Keep it for yourself so you can get to Raids 3.
I had to buy one like in the last week, and I'm kind of kicking myself because I thought I had one in the bank this whole time. Whenever they announced that the Pharaoh Scepter would be able to be used at the pyramid, I was like, oh, I'm good. I've got one in the bank. No,
You know, it's so funny because I was pissed when I bought mine because I bought mine like after they nuked all the Pyramid Plunder bots.
Yeah.
Because I needed it for a master.
Oh.
So I bought it with like it was like 2.6 mil. I'm like, this is stupid, man.
Oh.
I spent so much money on a Pharaoh Scepter. I got merged so hard. Now they're like 6 mil a piece. I'm like, whew, because that was before they announced that was going to be how you got to TOA.
Yep.
Um,
That's me. 6 mil on a
So
Pharaoh
yeah,
Scepter.
there was. So I lucked out on the Pharaoh Scepter, but you know, there's other things you definitely got to worry about as well. If you've not already looked at all the bosses, look at Baba in particular. Baba is the guardian of how do you say that? Ampekin? Amepkin? Apmekin. Apmekin?
Yeah, maybe.
Goddess Apmekin from the Pantheon, or from the Metaphite Pantheon, one of the 4 minor gods. Baba looks undead. Like, she's immortal, but she looks undead. Like, she's in all the what's it called? She looks very zombified.
Definitely
Salve
skull on the
EI?
face.
Question mark?
Potentially.
Salve EI. Go imbue your salve amulets. It could be like Theater of Blood, where you bring in a normal salve E and you drop it.
Yeah.
Or it could be because you're using magic for the raid, you need the EI, like Chambers. It doesn't matter. Go get one imbued. Go get everything imbued. It's not going to take you 24 hours to imbue a Berserker Ring or a Ring of Suffering. It's not going to take you that long to imbue them.
That's very true.
Right? It doesn't matter what method you use either. You know, I'm an old school Nightmare Zone man myself, but we talked about last week or 2 weeks ago. You can do whatever you got to do to get those imbue points. Make sure you have stuff like that laying around. We already know that Slayer tasks and Slayer helmets aren't going to matter in the raid, so you don't need to like skip for a crocodile task or something stupid like that. Like, you don't have to do anything like that. But
I'm kind of upset that they did that. It just seems like it just seems kind of dumb that they wouldn't let you do that.
Imagine what dramatic effect it would have if you could bring a spider's task into Theater of Blood.
I mean, it wouldn't. I don't know. It would just be the advantage that they've already kind of had in the game, because you can do. But I don't know, because you can do like a Jad task if you're on a Tazar. That's kind of where I'm thinking.
Okay, but what does a Jad task give? What does a Jad task do for the game as a whole? Nothing. It gives one person a fire cave.
Yeah.
Right. What would a spider's task in Theater of Blood do? If you got a big spider's task, like a big one.
Yeah.
Let's say you got 200 spiders. I don't think it's possible, but like, let's say you got 200 spiders or something. What does that do?
Like potentially
that makes the crabs at Maiden you never miss because you have Slayer helmet on. Nilo Room becomes a breeze if everybody has a spider's task. The crabs at Verzik, no problem. We're gonna pop them because we're gonna kill them every single time. Verzik, who is a spider in P3, dies fairly quickly.
Yeah.
It affects time. It affects loot from the raid. It affects the amount of items going into the game. Everyone brings up the example of the Lizardman Shaman. Lizardman Shaman's not the final boss. You can't bring a dragon's task into Chambers' Eric and use it against Olm.
Yeah.
Right? You could use Draconic Weaponry, which hits Olm harder and might kill Olm faster, but not to the extent of accuracy and damage boost like a Slayer Helm would, So I can see why the Slayer Helm isn't going to work in TOA.
It just seems like a nana boo boo kind of thing. Like, oh, you thought so? No. I don't know that it would have made a huge difference. But even saying that, if it's not going to make a huge difference, then it doesn't matter if it's there or not. So I'll die on this. I'll step off my soapbox because I don't really care. It's just surprising.
Yeah. If you're thinking about getting into this raid, if you're one of the people we talked about earlier, mid to late game, never really done raiding before, have your damn trifecta. We said it last week. We're going to say it again. Abyssal Whip, Toxic Blowpipe, Trident in the Swamp. Need those 3 weapons, and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
You might not be the MVP, but you'll be fine. I promise you'll be fine.
Yeah. I have a suggestion. So, hey, you've never done raids before, and you're wanting to do TOA, and you're listening to this on Tuesday. If you have time, have somebody take you on a learner's chambers. Go on an entry mode TOB. Try and
don't go on an entry mode TOB.
Okay. I'm just trying to make the point that just do something. Do a raid.
And yes, do a Chambers. If you can learn Chambers, learn Chambers. Entry mode TOB does not teach you how to do TOB.
Doesn't matter.
You are not going to leave entry mode with the confidence to do that kind of PVM. Chambers is Eric, absolutely. You make it through Olm Deathless and you've never done a raid before, you're good to go. I don't think entry mode is a good shout if you're trying to learn raids.
I wasn't trying to say learn TOB. I'm just saying get through a raid so that you have the knowledge of this is how a raid functions.
Mm-hmm.
But If you can get carried through a regular TOB, then go on a TOB.
Don't go to TOB at all. Unless you're in the... I'm sorry to be such a dick, disagreeing with you right here, but like, unless you're someone that can run TOB over and over again, you're doing TOB to make money before TOA. Going to Theater of Blood as a learner is either A, not going to teach you anything because you're going to get carried through you're going to have a Grandmaster carry you through an entry mode without knowing what's happening. Or you're going to be so miserable that you're not going to want to go to TOA. How many times have I said learning Theater of Blood is horrible? It sucks. It's not a fun experience to learn Theater of Blood because you die constantly. And unlike Chambers, where you can go right back in, you're stuck in the cage. When you die the minute P2 spawns at Verzik, because everybody does, you're in the cage. Sorry, you don't get to do this raid. You don't get to have fun with all your friends. If you're learning, would stray away from Theater of Blood. And I would just do Chambers as Eric. Because Michael's right. If you can go to TOA with the confidence of like, I did Olm Deathless, motherfucker, what do you got for me? Like, absolutely, that's going to be great. I would steer clear of Theater of Blood unless you're in the bracket of players that is going to be there to make money before the raid. That's just the way I see it. Even entry mode, it's not going to do much for you as far as like, you'll understand what we're talking about with like the raid chest, but like entry mode versus I don't know. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of entry mode. It's just I don't know. I think Chambers is a better shout if raiding is what you're trying to do.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you can find somebody, say in the TNL Discord, we have an entire channel for that. It's called Team Search. Just throw it out there that hey, you're a learner, or you would like to experience a raid before TOA. It's Tuesday afternoon, so definitely, probably somebody in there who'll be willing to do it. So I'm excited for TOA. I know Oxie is excited for TOA. I think you should be excited for TOA.
You better be excited for TOA. So I am pretty sure that right now, England is 4 hours ahead of Eastern Standard Time. I think I can double check that, but I think they're are they 5 hours ahead right now, or are they 4 hours
right
ahead?
now? I don't know.
Because I know like British summertime works. It's their time zones are weird. Let me double check. Time in England. It's 10:42. So yeah, they're 5 hours ahead. UTC is 4 hours ahead. Daylight savings time throws off the entire world. So 5 hours ahead of Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. Game updates happen at 11 a.m.
ish, yeah.
Is it 11 a.m.?
It's around noon. Yeah.
It's 11 a.m., 12 o'clock, something like that. You can double check on their Twitter, actually. Hold, please. So we can't seem to figure out a consistent time of when the game update is going to happen.
Around 6:30.
Number one, because it's going to happen between probably 6 and 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, or 11 or 12 a.m. English time. We're not sure. There's also, and like, they're gonna do their best, right? Michael, you already know what I'm gonna say. They're gonna do their absolute best. But shit's gonna get delayed or rolled back. Like it's gonna happen. Like just prepare yourself ahead of time that there's gonna be some downtime after the game updates,
right? Because
somebody will again rendy their way through something and break it, and they'll have to roll something back, and just prepare yourself. It didn't happen with Nex, which was pretty sweet, but
hear me out.
I think after leagues, everyone's a little like, whenever something big comes out.
So if you're in the UK, here's a word of advice. If you're in the UK and it's only going to be noon for you, say you got the day off, you want to spend the morning playing some RuneScape, don't do anything that you might miss. So it's not to say that they're going to roll back all the way to Tuesday evening, but you never know. You just really never know. So like, take it easy Wednesday morning, maybe do some light skilling, but don't do anything that you can't afford. Like if you get a pet and they suddenly roll the servers back, that's going to suck. Don't be the Reddit post we're all going to upvote.
Just do a skill that doesn't have a pet. Do a skill you already have the pet in. Go chop some redwoods. Go make some wines. Do something that's like just in case everything goes really far south. Like don't do anything crazy.
I guess that's a good point too. If you're not going to do the raid, and you're going to have, the morning or the afternoon, maybe it's best that you don't do all that at all. Maybe don't log into RuneScape until Wednesday evening when we know for sure, like, they've got stuff cold fixed, they've got the hot fix. Just play it safe, folks. Play it safe.
But that's not what we're here to talk about.
Sure.
We're not here to talk about the potential of what could happen with a rollback. The point of what we're trying to say is that this update's probably going to go live at about 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to be up, showered, breakfast, coffeeed, ready to go in VC at probably 5:30 in the morning Eastern Time. Michael's getting up at 4 a.m. his time to do exactly the same thing. If you're like, damn, I want to do TOA, but I don't have a team, come hang out with us in voice chat. Am I going to promise that I'm going to take everyone to TOA? Absolutely not. Because much like you, I'm probably going to be doing TOA with my friends. I'll probably run with Michael. I don't know. I'm not going to be offering to do learner TOAs day of, right? But come hang out with us in voice chat. I'm going to be awake. Michael's probably going to be awake and be there, But
it's exciting.
Yeah, so just that was the whole point of that, is we'll be in voice chat,
Discord links in the description.
Exactly, Discord links in the description. If it's not our Discord, like we always say, go hang out with somebody else in Discord in the morning.
I'm sure Mighty will
or
be up.
in the early afternoon. Yeah, or stay up like a degenerate if you're in Australia. Just like all right, 1 o'clock in the morning, oh boy, 3 a.m. Time for Tombs of AMASCUT. Like,
boy, I can't I can't even begin to empathize with the people in the Pacific Standard Time in America, because it's gonna be like 2 a.m. for them. You might as well just stay up at that point. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I think
pull a third
TOA
shift.
is going to come out. Yeah, it's like going to be 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning for the people on the West Coast. But it's funny because it's going to be like, what time is it going to be in Australia? I don't know how the Aus time works. It's like AUS
ahead.
Or something. I don't know how
They're
far
ahead.
They're like 15 hours ahead of us or
they're
something.
like, I don't know, 14 and a half wherever Damo lives. So
it's math that I don't know how to do
12.
right now, but
it's going to be in the morning.
Late night for
Thursday.
Aussies.
Yeah.
Late night for Aussies, middle of the day for people in Europe, and then bright and fucking early for us in the United States. So,
oh man,
wake them on up, get yourself a cup of coffee, and come hang out with us in voice chat, because TOA is about to absolutely pop off.
you better bring snacks for the group. That's all I'm saying.
Yes. If you don't bring, I will have orange slices.
Oh, fruit.
But maybe not enough for everybody. We'll see. Depends on how hungry I get.
Better leave it on your desk for a whole week.
How about 10 weeks? How does that sound?
10 weeks is great.
I think that's all we have for you, folks. Hope you guys enjoyed this first segment of this kind of surprise early episode. And get hyped for TOA. We're going to go to a break, and then we will do some more fun housekeeping things afterwards. Bye. Hello. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Simon Templeton, owner, operator, sole proprietor, and chief executive officer of Simon Templeton's totally legitimate archaeological expeditions. You've actually caught me out here at an interesting time. I'm doing work for the Varrock Museum, and as a matter of fact, you've come by at just the right time. You see that pyramid? At the top rests a smaller, shinier pyramid. It's not a very tough trek up, but you see, that's my problem. Last time I tried to go up there, I really hurt my back on the way down, so I haven't been feeling up to the climb lately. But that's where you come in. You see, I've got a guy. He's willing to pay top dollar for those pyramid tops. So I'll make you a deal. For every pyramid top you get me, I'll toss you 10,000 gold. That's right, that's a 1 with 4 zeros at the end of it. No diminishing returns, just cold, hard cash. So what do you think? We got a deal? Yep, wait, don't answer that. Just meet me here at my base camp outside the pyramid tomorrow morning. If you get lost on your way over, the pyramid is right next to the edge of the world. Literally, there's nothing there. You stare at the void stares back. I'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning. Can't wait to do business with you, partner. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that commercial because I know I sure did. If you're thinking to yourself, sick of these commercials, don't worry. I just texted Michael about several commercial ideas that we're going to be doing in October because I am a whore for Halloween. So if there's no new commercials till October, that might be the case. But you're getting 4 new commercials in October. You're getting 1 a week for the Halloween season, as long as nothing goes crazy. But man, I'm so excited for the commercials that we plan for Halloween. Before we get into anything more enjoyable for the second half, it's Patreon time, which is also enjoyable, I suppose, for the people who are patrons because they get their names shouted out. But it's just, I'm bad at promoting us, so I do it every even numbered episode. So you have to bear through it just like I do. In the Wise Old Man tier, kicking things off, we have 10,000 slugs. A lot of slugs. Scape Caution, Elagio, Balamer, Basket, Benjamin R., Pork Jerry, Bloodman, Hadadbod, C. Gladney, Morty, Creamed Ham, Drum TXT, Duke Bradley, D. Falconer, Flyin' Castiel, Forestry, Fortimus, Francine 1225, Jack M, Jake W, Jerry, Jordy, Potato Pancake, Posh Padre, Magmorpheus, Mima, 999999, Ninja Turtle Ruby, Not a Hippo, Obsidian Paladin, Okami Damashi, Pine Martin 709, Poorly Hung, aka I Swallow, Russa Fury, Salted Snake, Soggy Waffles, Skalaxin, Sholdveg, Solaire OS, Sweet and Tangy, The Chungaroo, THG Bang, or Top Hat Gangbang, what a name, T-Pace, Valdon, and Zach without a K. I'm going to pat myself on the back without having to stop through that entire segment because I am awesome and also professional. But you guys are even more awesome for supporting us at that tier. You guys kick ass. Thank you. Now moving on to the KBD tier shoutouts, which I would have been able to go right through, but Michael had to stop me and let me know that Bloodman actually went from Wise Old Man to KBD during the episode. So Bloodman is not a Wise Old Man, he is a KBD, and he kicks things off shouting at the KBD people. So, Bloodman, aka Young Kyle, my dad, hi dad, GAM Stones, Kroll, the Lord Jake himself, our third favorite supporter Ralph, Rylithian, Skooma92, Spartan Fire, and Toast No Toast. You guys are absolute mega giga chads. I heard you guys like that phrase from the last episode, so I figured I'd throw it out there for the KBD folks because that's, you guys are awesome for that. So thank you guys for supporting at that tier as well. If you would like to support us at all, at any tier, for as low as $1, you can head over to patreon.com/XPWaste. You're probably overly curious about the goal we've been talking about the last couple of weeks. The goal is changing. We are not going to be super clear because Michael and I don't have super clear details because we haven't figured that much out. But the goal is changing. It will still involve 150 patrons, and there's still a tattoo involved, we think. But we're not entirely sure how it's going to work out. So for right now, the goal is vague and in the ether somewhere. But when we have some more things locked into place, we will get back to you and be able to report a better, newer goal that probably gives you guys a lot more for your money. Literally a lot more for your money. So the goal is changing, but it will return. I think that about covers it for the Patreon. Yeah, if you join, you get a snazzy little icon next to your name. A gnome child in Discord, that is. Gnome child, Party Pete, Wise Old Man, or King Black Dragon chat head. Which, fun fact, the KBD chat head is actually the Prince Black Dragon chat head. Because KBD, the chat head that you see in the Tale of Two Cats quest, is only one dragon head.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's the Prince Black Dragon's chat head. That's a little fun fact for you about those little icons that pop up next to people's names. It's community question time, surely, right?
It is. It is. Thank you,
Hell
Oxie.
yeah.
Appreciate that. So, every week we ask you guys a question over on Spotify and on the pinned comment on YouTube. That is our community question. Last week we asked, what new boss are you going to try first? So, we're starting it out with Vince, who said, I'm going to learn how to do Zilliana and Kree for ranged armor and a crossbow. I wonder if Vince is an Iron Man. I don't know. Nathan G says, finished quest requirements and working on skills requirements for DS2 for a Dragon Hunter crossbow for the rebuild at Vorkath. Easiest way to go from 130 mil bank to a 99 mil bank on death and supply cost to learn. Yes, Vorkath is one of those. Let's see. Brandon says, the go-to first boss for any account has got to be Jad. It's such a coming-of-age boss and a good grind, which opens the door to a lot of PVM. Plus, getting the first cape feels real good. We had so many first fire capes, and you'll hear about that in the next one. So,
This next monster's not just a boss. He's a rite of passage. Look out. Here comes Tuz Talk Jad.
Mighty, shout out to you, Mighty, says, need to get into raids. So, if you're looking to get into raids,
Yes, you do.
join the Mighty's.
Mr.
Mighty
Mr. Rob Michael's gonna get a max cape before you, TikToker. I tried to stitch that TikTok where he did like the judge your account.
Yeah.
I had everything. I had my hat, I had my backpack, I had B. I was gonna pick everything up, like that's it. I'm done.
Aw.
I'm out of here. I'm gone. I don't care. This game sucks. I'm leaving. I was gonna stitch
Yeah.
it, but he had stitches turned off, so I couldn't do that.
sucks.
But God, that's probably my favorite. I mean, I'm in it. That's why it's my favorite
Right,
TikTok.
right.
But no.
Moving on to Moist Sean. They says, I'm still fairly new at Osrs, so I haven't tried any bosses. But I'd like to try Sarachnis or even Jad as my first boss in the account. But trust that I won't be moist when I do these at all.
Oh, trust me. When you get to Jad, you'll be moist. Your whole body will be moist. I go in. I got loaned for the last bingo we were in. I went in absolute max. Jamie loaned me Armadillo, Tebow. Like I went in guns blazing, going for a speed run time, and I was still shaking in my boots when Jad came out. And I've done a shitload of fire capes, so you will be moist. By when you get to Jad. Let me tell you.
I suffer from like sweaty hands. So I'm like constantly just wiping my hand off whenever things get intense. So
I'm a lasagna chair sweater.
Oof.
It's not in my hands. It's as soon as I stand up, and I have to like pull myself off the leather chair. God, that's way too much information for the show. It's staying in, but man, that's just
Sorry.
We're on we know each other on a personal level now.
So
XP
sorry.
Wasters.
Great place to move on. Mac B says, sent a few gauntlets on Wednesday, got some Mithril out of it. Just got 91 Slayers, so I'm going to try Cerberus when I get a dog task. I didn't know that worked like that. And KQ for the head with the Karis Partisan. That's actually a good shout.
I gotta try that shit out.
I
have to do the quest to try it out, but oh my God, that's another thing. Take your goddamn Karis Partisans to Raid 3.
true.
Why did we not say that in the first half
we
of the
haven't done
episode,
quest
Michael?
to even remember that
You
that
have
weapon
to bring
exists.
the fact that you're getting awarded jewels that can only be used in the
yeah.
raid. A Karis Partisan is going to be absolutely necessary for
I
Raid
agree.
3. Oh, we're so dumb we didn't say that in the first half of the episode.
Well, if you made it this
Continue.
far, bonus content for you guys.
Bingo.
Lord Maticus says, I'm at Vorkath in DS2, and I just completed Song of the Elves, so I'm looking forward to Gauntlet and post-quest Vorkath. Love the love the podcast, keep it up. Thank you, Lord Maticus. Appreciate that. So that rounds off the Spotify community question. Moving on over to our YouTube replies. Starting out with Fusey Jr. Not technically a boss, but they want to start with TOB. But been holding out on it for too long. Send some TOB.
Send some TOB, please. And this is not just for you. This is for everyone. please go to TOB with people who know how to do TOB. Do not go with 4 learners like I did to learn TOB. You're going to hate it. Please go with people who can teach you the mechanics of the rooms and then execute those mechanics very well. But it's okay to get carried your first couple times. Just learn with people who know how to do it. The board of shame is very real at Theater of Blood.
Go with people.
Yes.
Nick F says, finally beat Seren this week. Decided to try Gauntlet because I was feeling hot and immediately got spanked. Whoosh. Damn, I feel that.
That sound effect was not added in. That was all Michael. Michael did that himself on his end. That was scarily close to like an actual soundbite that we could record. I kind of want to pull one right now and add it into the podcast right here, just because that was like, it was creepily good.
Alrighty, thank you, Oxie. Andy Willkill says, I'm looking forward to Raids 3. I don't know if that counts. It does count. Gosh. What do you think we are? Crazy? That counts. I'm looking forward to Raids 3.
So this whole episode was about,
man.
Oh my God.
Hey, 10,000 Slugs says, after I get the Fire Cape, I'm going to learn Seracnus. Well, buddy, you got the Fire Cape today.
It's time for you to head over to Hasidius and get some damn spider killing going then.
Yeah, there we go. Jordy says, I said Vorkath in the recording booth chat, but a day or so later, I tried it, and now I'm addicted to it. Hell yeah. Another boss I want to try and tackle is Zora and Gauntlet. And when I finally have 87 Slayer, kill Kraken. Solid. I think you have absolutely killed it at Vorkath. Eyewitness says, I'm a little burnt on Vorkath and Corrupted Gauntlet right now. I've watched Its Will kill Fazani's Nightmare probably 500 times on stream, and I still have no clue what is happening, but I'm really intrigued to learn it and try it. I would recommend, and this is coming from somebody who's never killed Fazani's, maybe go and do some Masterworld Nightmare, and then you'll kind of understand a little bit what's happening. The waves are a little different, but it doesn't hurt. And lastly, Fear Garden on YouTube. Fear Garden says, how many deaths before Fazani's completion y'all think? I don't know. I don't know how many you're on.
Having done a lot of content with Fear myself, Fear, I'm going to put you at, you're somewhere between 30, 40 before you get to completion. That's because Fear and I are about on the same level, and it took me about 48 attempts. I'm going to be a little nicer to Fear and hope he gets it a little bit sooner than that. So between 30 and 40, Fear. God, Fazani was awful.
I actually lied. There's 2 more replies that are...
Oh my God, bonus replies.
Bonus replies. So I usually only look on the actual reply to the community question, but some people just comment, so that's fine. But Baxley says, for new bosses, I'm looking forward to unlocking the upper echelon Slayer bosses. They're only 85 at the moment. So right now, though, they're wanting to start to learn solo God Wars and getting better at the Gauntlet. Yo, solo God Wars as a goal is just pog. Like, it's old content. So there's like tons of people who do solo God Wars. But like, if you can learn to kill those guys without needing a team, that's pog. Then finally, we got a reply from LT Potato of the Tryhards. Shout out to the Tryhards.
Okay.
They said, I'm really looking forward to that up-and-coming Sour Hog King boss. It's due to launch winter 2017 and is set to showcase some never-before-seen mechanics. Keep crushing it, fellas. I don't know how to respond to this because the winter 2017 remark makes me think that it's not coming out, but I haven't done any research to fact check if there's a Sour Hog King boss.
Almost entirely certain it's fake. That said, though, a boss where you gotta wear them sick ass shades, where you have to wear those spectacles. Ooh, there it is, right there. Just for the fashionscape alone. Now I want that to happen. Everybody, could you imagine full Torva with the red goggles?
Oh my gosh! Like you're forced to. Like you can't even combine it with anything good. Like it doesn't go on your Nessie.
I mean, like
it doesn't.
The solution
helm.
is like just do it on task with the Slayer helm,
Yeah.
but also right
the fashion. that is going to do it for the community question, guys. Thank you so much, everyone who did answer. This week's question is going to be, did TOA meet your expectations? Because we know that this episode comes out before, so maybe not, we won't have like a ton of replies the first day, but we have like almost an entire week before we'll read these answers. So get into TOA. Let us know what you think. We're very, very curious. It is time now for Oxie's favorite segment of the episode, levels and achievements.
Yeah, damn right it is. I am excited for this one because there is literal miles of things to scroll through. I don't know if you can hear the scroll wheel on my mouse right now going through, but there are going to be a lot. Editing Oxie is going to hate this segment, but podcasting Oxie is very excited for it because remember when I said last week that leading up to TOA, I'm sure y'all are going to pop off. Y'all delivered. Holy shit. We have a lot of things to cover. So, first up, as always, in the achievement cape-esque categories, we actually have 2 achievement diary capes. Iron Hyla and Cutty Montage both got their achievement diary capes this week. Congratulations. I do believe we also have some music capes as well here. Yeah, I want to say that Deadman Walkin' and DOFH Guava, is there another way to say that name? I'm not entirely sure. Parentheses Austin also got their music cape. Which, I think Austin did it with the Tazar Rec Challenge, which I've never seen before.
Ooh.
Which, I didn't know that was possible. So, do you just not have to sacrifice a fire cape anymore?
Interesting.
You just have to, show him that you can... Okay, that's actually pretty cool. If you only have one fire cape, yeah, it makes it a little easier. So... There's that there with those achievement capes. Because this is the random catch-all section, though, we do have some other random achievements to throw in here. Young Mac hit 100 days played with no 99s. I don't know if that's supposed to be a celebration or not, or a call-out post for the degeneracy. But either way, congratulations, Young Mac. I have 174 days, so that's probably okay. Well, I don't really have room to talk. In any case,
they're close though. I looked at the stats; they're nearly max combat. So.
Yeah, they've been pulling high levels recently. Mima opened his 2000th medium clue scroll, which just oh my god, the man is so excited for TOA. Surely, I'm doing all these medium clues, just trying to find something to fill the void. And finally, I don't necessarily know where to put this one because it's hard as shit, but it's not a PVM encounter and it's not a 99, but Gibson opened his first Grand Hollowed Coffin at the Hollowed Sepulcher. That's cool, but it's not a boss, and it's not necessary. It's a skilling thing. So maybe I don't know. Should we start including first Grand Hollowed Coffins in the thing?
It's not easy. First of all, and 92 agility. That's nothing to scoff at. I think we should just it's an achievement, nonetheless.
Yeah, so I don't know. Was that one tentatively Grand Hollowed Sepulcher, whatever, floats in the ether of awesome, but miscellaneous at the moment. Breaking into the 99s and other various skilling achievements this week. Oh my god, this is going to be mind blowing. The Michael from Xpwaste podcast achieved 99 defense this week. So
hell yeah,
absolutely massive.
Max combat too.
You didn't have it on the last episode. You did hit max combat with 99 defense.
I did not have it. Nope.
Yeah, because you got it the day after we recorded. I remember because I was in the Inferno and I saw the pop up shit.
Yeah,
because I didn't know there was a party.
I was editing.
Somebody made a comment in VC oh yeah, Michael got 99 defense. I'm like, he what?
Yeah.
And then because I keep the clan chat closed in the Inferno, but. Yeah, so congratulations to you, Michael. That's one of many. You finished off a second column as well.
Yep.
So we've got, 3 skills left? 4 skills left?
Technically 4, but yeah. Thieving and Hunter will be quick. Slayer and Agility will not.
That is true. They will take quite a while. In the skilling range as well, Cuddy Montage, again, making his second appearance on Achievement of the Week this week, got 99 woodcutting and 99 prayer. Daddy Iron, one hell of a name, got 99 Slayer this week at Goblins, which is pretty cool. It tells me he Turiel skipped or something for a Goblins task. Like, that's pretty fun.
That's the way to do it, man.
Honestly, I think it is, right? I think it is a way to do it. And Eromet, or Nulo? Is that how you say that? Nulo 23 in the CC. Achieved 99 farming, which... fantastic. We love 99 farming. That's probably going to be mine next. It's going to be my first skilling 99, I would bet. I really would bet that's my first skilling 99 because like we're getting there. We're close. Not that close. We only have like 95 farming, but still, it's going to be closer than anything else. I think that about wraps up the skilling portion of this week's Achievement of the Week. And then we're getting into combat. Last week, we pushed you guys to do some things in combat to prep for Tombs of AMASCUT and really like embrace PVM to the fullest of its extent. And y'all said, okay, bet. Like, we're going to start with the fire capes this week. I do mean fire capes plural because there's a lot of them. We have Replin Wolf, after what felt like 100 attempts, roughly 20 according to him, finally got his first fire cape. I stopped and saw first fire cape and thought, oh shit, yeah, we got to shout this fire cape out from Studhound. That's Michael. So Michael got his first fire cape in his groupie. I don't know if that counts, Michael. I don't know about that one. Hadadbod got his first fire cape this week on the GIM, which he said quest cape is incoming now that he's got the fire cape as well. Pine Martin 709 last night got his first fire cape as well. I was at the concert when I got that notification because I saw the pop-up of like finally got my first fire cape and was like not going to open it because I'm at a show, but like, yeah, good job.
I was there. It was fun.
Hell yeah. I did. That was another thing I thought was sick because I didn't pop in, but like I looked on Discord and I saw that like he was one of the folks in VC chat. So like that's got to be hype as shit. Was it hype as shit? Good. We love to hear it. And as you guys remember from the top of the episode, 10,000 Slugs got his fire cape 2 hours ago. So congratulations to you. That's the first fire capes of the week. We have some other combat achievements things that we do want to bring up as well. Jamie achieved 1,500 Zulrah KC. Bowmanator achieved 1,000 Vorkath KC. TMD achieved 200 Hespori KC. Sir Brekkus with 100 Barrows KC. And just shitty luck. I'm calling that one out because in 100 chests, he has one item.
Super sad.
That sucks. I don't know if that's a main or an iron. That's a main. That still sucks. And wrapping up the PVM portion, we have Jordy with his first Vorkath kill. I also realized I forgot to mention individual quests and various achievements as well in the like miscellaneous section. I just saw capes. I was like, oh yeah, let's go with that. But there were other various things that I wanted to mention as well. Pine Martin, again, with his second appearance, got his Barrows gloves and completed Recipe for Disaster, as did Kyle. And another one that I want to shout out because this one, it's special for me, even though I had nothing to do with it. Our boy, Leo Nasty 623. Finally finished Song of the Elves.
Go Leo.
I've known Leo since like probably mid 2019, mid to late 2019. And the man just didn't want a quest. The man got a PC and he did Song of the Elves. So congratulations to you, Leo, for finally getting so done. Excited to see Leo Gauntlet content.
I'm calling Leo Quest Cape 2023 for sure.
Potential. Mad potential. I think everything else is all hard ones are done. You just got to get it now. But I believe that does wrap up Achievement of the Week. If you got shouted out or didn't get shouted out, we apologize. But keep doing awesome things. TOA is coming out, and we don't know if we're going to we'll see how hard TOA is. If TOA is ridiculously difficult day one, absolutely we are going to shout people out. Probably if you look at expert mode on day one, we'll probably get some shout outs going for next week, but we're just going to assume that you guys are going to go ahead And I'll get KCs on day one because we've had 2 awesome podcast episodes to prepare. So yeah, keep doing things that are awesome, and we look forward to shouting out more awesome things that you guys do. And where, of course, do you post that? In the TNL Discord. Levels and Achievements channel, you guys feel free to pop in, post in there. Post things in awesome drops. Post things in our joke channel. Post things in our pets channel. Pets channel's been kind of dead recently, folks. Where's some pets in there? The pets channel's about to pop off this week. But yeah, that's where you do all that. You guys are awesome. Keep achieving things, and I look forward to everything that's probably going to come out this week with TOA. So I think that puts us at our last little segment, which couldn't have come at a better time because technically Michael and I are supposed to be in an event in 10 minutes. Yeah. So we do have a fun question for you guys today as well.
We do have a fun question. This is the final postcard that I have received from Oxie. I haven't gone to the P.O. box in a week, so I'll probably end up going sometime tomorrow, I think. But there is a fun question, and hopefully I'll be able to read it. Are you ready, Oxie?
Boy. Would you like me to read it before we struggle through like last week? You're really gonna try? You're sure? You're sure you don't want me to just hold up to the camera? Because I think I know what this fun question is. I think
I've got it.
If it's the last one.
I've got it.
Oh, you think you've got it? All right, let's do it.
This is inspired by the Little Mermaid statue in Copenhagen. I think it's in Copenhagen. So it says, fun question. You're commissioned to build a statue depicting Osrs' greatest moment. What are you building and where is it going to be placed? Did I get that correct, Oxie?
You did. Holy shit. Coming off of, he must have studied the postcards from last week.
Bro, I've done nothing. Like, I skipped work to be able to study all of the postcards that I've got, and I can now read Oxie's handwriting.
What a king. Honestly,
it took
what a king.
An entire week, 8 hours a day, but I did it. So, you're commissioned to build a statue depicting one of Osrs' greatest moments. That is a tongue twister if I've ever heard one.
That's a lot of plurals right there. Holy.
Where are you what are you building and where? So what and where? Do you have anything or do you want me to go first?
I have a few things in mind. I mean, the first thing for me that pops up, it's a little strange, but I kind of want to put like, it's hard to describe the statue. The theme is Zaya, right? Because one of Osrs' biggest moments has been Zaya, because Zaya made old school RuneScape. We were still a 2007 backup with a couple of new additions until Zaya came into the picture. True. Then we started to branch off and become our own game, because I don't exactly remember when Zaya released. Was that like early 2016, 2015 maybe?
I want to say 2016.
But what was Zaya like? I feel like that 2016 year we got Zaya, which also we have Zulrah that year as well, right? So, but Zaya gave us a new skilling method for a skill that the meta had not changed since 2001, right? We got was the blood rune altar there?
That's a great question.
Or no? I don't know. I don't know how much Zaya had changed, but like,
because they reworked Zaya like shortly after and took it from this like 4-quadrant just square island to what it was, and like I think they added Winter Todd and all that kind of stuff. So
well, even all right. So even if we assume all the changes that have been made, because Zaya is the starting point for all of it, Zaya is a new Slayer dungeon that completely reshaped how Slayer is done, because it used to be that like the Slayer cave at Neve was where everybody went. Now they spread everything out, and then the Catacombs of Correndo are really good for doing things, but it's not perfect because you can't canon. So like some places it's better to do monsters that aren't in the Catacombs, right? You get Winter Todd, which again changed the meta of a skill that literally hadn't had anything changed since 2001. You got bukus of new quests. You got an entire new favor system. That sounded kind of shitty at first, and then they changed it so you no longer lose favor.
Yeah.
Right? You got a new spell book with a plethora of uses, from the lowest level reanimating an imp to the highest level. This thrall is going to increase my DPS and make my speed time go up at this endgame boss level of content. You got a variety of new Slayer monsters. You got a new Slayer boss that is one of the best money makers in the game. Right? You got a new Slayer master. You got two new guilds. You got the woodcutting guild and the farming guild. You got a new tree that's exclusive to old school. We got a new kind of fish with the angler fish. We've got
so much stuff.
Again, all these cool things. We got the Dragon Warhammer finally came in, and how can you talk about Zaya without probably the biggest piece of content on the entire continent? You got old school's first raid. You got Chambers.
I was
of
going to say
Zarek.
sand crabs, but
Like typical skiller talk right there. I would want to do something special for Zaya, but that for me is what's complicated, because Zaya is a landmass. So like, surely you could do maybe something. Maybe what you could do is you could have two statues, right? Think about it. You have two statues. One statue is in Port Sarim, and it's somebody with like all 2007 gear. Like just like the most 2007 you can think of, with like a backpack on, looking like they're getting ready to board one of the ships, or like they're walking towards the dock. The statue is like moving towards the dock, towards the ships. It's called like, the Traveler or something like that. First person going to Zaya. Then maybe you have another statue in Port Pisarilius where you arrive. That's like the arrival, and they're just looking like
a
very like kind of like an awestruck, like holy shit, like on the dock right there by that little like inn, where you get off at Port Pisarilius. Maybe there's something like that, like leading to Korend Castle. That's like, this completely altered the game as it was, and as it forever would be. We're talking about TOA 6 years after, 7 years after Zaya came out, and we wouldn't be doing TOA the same way without the things that have come from Zaya. There probably wouldn't be a TOA at all without Zaya, because we probably wouldn't have had a raid, and we probably wouldn't have had it as well. Right? So, or at least we wouldn't have had it as good as we had it in Chambers. Don't get me wrong, I hate Chambers, but like, its design mechanic for a raid in old school standards is pretty good. So I probably would do either twin statues of like a Traveler and an Arrival, or like, I don't know, maybe someone with like a map open and like the whole continent of Zaya is behind them, and like a massive statue somewhere. Maybe that's, I don't know where you would put that necessarily. Maybe you put that somewhere in like the free to play area.
I think it would, like, going along with the theme of Zaya, it would be cool to see somewhere like dead center, like the fields east of Port Sarim, just a statue of somebody like holding a twisted bow in a drawn drawn form, and then maybe like just a hand of Olm. Just something to tease, like, around this place is where you make it to the continent of Zaya. And then there's like a little plaque that's like dedicated to the first raid completion or something. Yeah,
that would be really cool if it was a big. I feel like it would have to be a huge statue, where like you see like a little bit of a scaled up player with that like full range twisted bow, whatever, and then you have Olm's head, because that's what you attack with the bow, just like massive, and that would actually be
cool?
sick as. That'd be sick as
right?
If they added that, and it's like in commemoration of the first ever Chambers of Zaya completion done by so and so and so and so, and then you do the same thing in Meyerditch, or like off the shore south of Verisinhaza.
Yeah,
you put Bodhi and Wooks and all them in their full armadillo
with like
ranging Verzik, but Verzik's like reared up on her hind legs. Yeah, in P3. Dude. That'd be a sick. Those would be super cool additions. With just little plaques that are like dedicated to the first completion of Theater of Blood and Chambers. I would even
put the TOB
shit,
one, like, go, where the strange old man is, or the whatever, the bone guy, for Rag and Bone Man,
Mhm.
like put it in that little valley because that's where you're leading to Canifis and leading to Mauritania.
Yeah, if we're going with that theme, yeah, I think that could work pretty
Yeah.
well. Like if it's like when you first enter Mauritania, because then that really opens the door to like,
What
who
is
is
that area?
Like, what is that? What is that monstrosity that they're shooting at? Like, that's not over here, is it?
And that would lead
Like-
them to put like a statue somewhere in Al Kharid for the first TOA, kind of in the theme of this is the first and this is the area that leads you to that. I don't know. It'd be really cool.
What would be super cool is if God, you really could do that with a lot of things, couldn't you? Because based off of that theme, you could easily put, even if you just put a statue based off of the Runefest statue of Wooks kneeling down when they put the infernal cape on him for getting the first cape. If you put like a stone Tazar statue somewhere in Moral Wreck.
That'd be cool.
That was like, congratulations, like the statue dedicating Wooks the first completion of the Inferno.
Yeah.
That would be sick.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Well,
all right. So what do you got? You've spitballed some kick-ass ideas for my idea because I really like that raid statue idea. Now I really want JMods. If you're listening, you know what to do. This shit's free. Take it.
So if mine sounds a little lackluster, it's because I absolutely carried Oxie's idea. So
yeah.
I think it would be really cool because you talked about an event, right? So an event that made Osrs what it is. Like I want to see somewhere in Lumbridge, somewhere where everybody who's new can see it, but like maybe just a like the depiction of somebody doing the max cape emote, and then like commemorate the first person who ever maxed in old school RuneScape, or maybe Link's Titan. I don't know so much Link's just because like, yeah, 200 mil all. It's an amazing achievement, but like it's not really super realistic to strive for. A lot of people have done it at this point, but you know, having something to commemorate the first person who ever maxed in this game mode, or even Zezma, like statue to Zezma, because I don't think there is anything. I can't speak for RuneScape 3, but I don't know that there's anything in old school that even references Zezma. And the pronunciation of the name is always a topic because some people say Zezima, some people say Zezima. I just say Zezma. So Zezima, that guy. First, like, #1 player in RuneScape 2 for a long time before he quit. But something to commemorate it, something to commemorate the max players. And I think that's just because I'm going for the maxing grind, and I think it's really cool. But it would also be pretty neat on that same vein, maybe in a significant place to build statues for maybe the first people who ever got that 99. So like back in the day, you put a statue to the first player who ever got 99 Herblore around where you unlock the skill. So like over in Taverley, there's like a statue to whoever it was, and it's just their player model with their cape. But old school games in general could do with a lot more commemorative statues, because we have some in RuneScape, but I feel like they're very few and far between. Like the most notable one is the old knight statue in the wilderness. If you guys remember that story,
so it's weird that like that's not actually the old knight. That's like a player myth.
Is it?
That's him, because it's a woman in RS3.
Okay. I thought it was.
They changed that statue to be somebody. Well, that's the legend, is that like they added that statue for the old knight. It's funny you mention that though, because the old knight pub in the Pharaoh Enclave is specifically for. It's spelled NITE. Cool. The old knight pub. Yeah. But that statue, like I know what you're talking about, just west of it, it's like not confirmed to be the old knight. It's weird. Like
maybe
it's a nice head canon, but like it's not confirmed to be actually to be him.
I think back in the day, I think I actually did meet the old knight. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure I did. I mean, there was not that many worlds back in the day, so you saw a lot of people walking around. I've seen Zezma in game. I was unfortunately one of those degenerate kids who was on the follow train when this guy just wanted to play the game. But you know, you got the message. Like, you're in Varrock Square, everybody's screaming in the West Bank, Zasma's here. Zasma's in the West Bank. So yeah, that would be cool.
You know, it would be a bitchin' statue to put
What?
either like right outside the Grand Exchange or like right in Lumbridge, like right outside the gate, or maybe you're attached to the gate. A statue of the number 449351.
What is that?
That is the number of players who voted to open up the old school RuneScape servers back in 2013.
That would be cool.
That would be a pretty sick statue to put somewhere. Just that six digit thing. That would be pretty
That'd be
cool
neat.
because like I didn't vote in that poll because 2013 I was a junior in high school, I think. So I wasn't playing RuneScape, but you know, but yeah, that's yeah. I think we got some. There's so many more things we could do too.
I agree.
Although, especially if we're like first completion. Like I feel like not like the first Zulrah probably shouldn't get a first completion. Like okay, cool, first Vorkath. It's been done a million times. Like I feel like things that are raid level difficult.
First solos
definitely do with it.
Like a cold one got the first solo TOB or first solo hardcore. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, something like that. Like, there's a lot of super cool things that could be commemorated like that. I also feel like you can't talk about statues without like in some way acknowledging the Falador massacre.
I was gonna say
like,
that.
Not that you want to put a statue of Duriel 321
because
anywhere, because like
it's a memorable moment, but like it's more lore memorable. Like remember the war. You know, there's nothing really good about that. He was exploiting a bug and took a lot of money from people, and people probably quit over that. So we look back on it with like fond memories, but like that was a major event. So that would be interesting to have. I just don't know how they would do it. But it would be cool to commemorate what that event was in the game, because a lot of people remember it. It's worth it. I guess it's worth a consideration. Troll in the recording booth chat says a commemorative bench. Not sure why though. Just sit on it maybe. But yeah, thank you for the question, Oxie. Thank you, Oxie, for this final postcard. It's gonna go up on the wall.
It was everything I had in me. You know? You're never getting a fun question out of me again.
I hear there's 2 more postcards potentially coming, unless we haven't confirmed that. I don't know. I just remember you saying
you have Prague, you have CERN, you have Copenhagen, you have Vienna, and you have Berlin. You should be good.
Okay, cool.
Because I didn't send you one from London because I was exhausted and was like, whatever. He's got 5 fun questions. He'll read one while I'm not there. You know, like,
and we ended up reading almost
we're squared
all
away
of
with
them while you were
postcards.
here.
Yeah, God, the mail is hard. What are you gonna do?
Is that it today, Oxie?
You know, I think that is it. I think that about wraps it up. I don't know why this recording track says 2 hours and 47 minutes. I really, really don't. I don't know if that episode's going to be nearly this long, but thank you all for joining us today. If you want to see more of us or hear more of us or read more of what we have to say, every link you'll need for everything. Our Discord, our podcast Twitter, probably our personal Twitters, YouTubes, Twitch accounts, all that will be in the description down below, including the links for Patreon and the link to our merch store. All be in that little link tree if you guys feel like supporting us in addition to hearing us. But again, that is of course never obligated. Come hang out in Discord. It's awesome. Like, again, I know I'm biased as shit, but like it's super fun to come hang out, join the clan, which is almost getting full, by the way. We're going to have to figure that out, but absolutely, please come join the clan. We're not that close to filling up, but it's just something that we on the upper end have to consider. Yeah. We might have to start removing all of our various alt accounts, Michael, that we have in the clan, like all like silver key ranks. So we're just going to have to start kicking ourselves out first. But yeah, come hang out again. In-game CCs, TNL. Join that. Chat with us. It's fun. It's awesome. And most importantly, and I cannot stress this enough, get hype for Raids 3. That comes out tomorrow, August 24th. We Don't know the exact time because again, we're just not sure about the game update. We're gonna guess 6 or 7 a.m. Eastern time and 11 or 12 p.m. UK time. So just double check. I'm sure they will announce it in the coming days. Enjoy your day today. Take it easy. Do whatever you have to do to prepare for Raids 3, and please don't burn yourself out today. Just hang out, have a good day, because tomorrow it's all kicking off. RuneScape is finally getting its 3rd raid after 4 years. Get excited about it. And with that, we leave you till next week. See you later, everyone.